But in your hearts, honor Christ the Lord as holy, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you, yet do it with gentleness and respect.
My name is Mark Moorhead, and you're listening to A Reason for Our Hope. Let's begin with prayer. Grant, O Lord, that none may love thee less this day because of me, that never a word or act of mine may turn one soul from thee. And ever daring, yet one more grace would I implore, that many souls this day, because of me, may love thee more. Amen.
I've got a surprise for you today. Lent is just around the corner, and the podcast format's going to change just for this special season. The inspiration for the idea is based on something I've been doing now for about 15 years. Each Lent, I do the typical giving something up for Lent that most of us Catholics do, but what I started adding to it roughly 15 years ago was to do something additional that I normally wouldn't do. I decided then that this would take the form of reading a great Catholic book, usually a classic, but not always. I would take the book ahead of Lent and divide the total number of pages by the total number of days in Lent. Depending on the length of the book, the number of daily pages usually ranges anywhere from 2 to 3 pages a day to maybe 6 to 7 pages per day. In either case, the load is really manageable, and those little bite-sized nuggets of truth have made for some really fruitful Lents over the years. With that in mind, this Lent, I'm going to be sharing a spiritual classic with all of you. It's called Trustful Surrender to Divine Providence, The Secret of Peace and Happiness by Father Baptiste Saint-Jure and Blessed Claude de Colombière. This little book packs a really powerful punch. It delves into the concept of divine providence and advocates for complete trust in God's will. Trustful Surrender emphasizes that everything that happens, whether good or bad, is part of God's plan and serves a higher purpose. It encourages readers to surrender their will to God's will completely, trusting that He knows what's best for them. Through various anecdotes, biblical references, and philosophical arguments, the authors will illustrate how trusting in divine providence leads to inner peace and true happiness. They address common human concerns such as suffering, sin, and the apparent randomness of life events, asserting that all these can be understood and accepted within the framework of God's providential care. Overall, Trustful Surrender to Divine Providence serves as a guide for spiritual growth, and it will encourage readers to develop a deep trust in God's wisdom and goodness, even in the face of life's challenges and uncertainties. So now that I've told you what's coming, be sure to listen starting with the next episode, which takes place on Ash Wednesday. That way, you won't miss a beat.
A Reason for Our Hope is brought to you by Cayman Gabriel Media. Until next time, hold the cross high.